Good morning and welcome back, and I want to continue with my exploration of deep water mathematics. And today I want to enhance the equation for the mental that we had derived perhaps about 10 days ago or so. Now I'm going to follow the same process that I used to enhance the equations of the physical and vital. So recall that what we had arrived at was an equation for the mental that really is comprised of 4 layers, if you will. So we have the mental, and at the deepest layer we have mental level 3, which really indicates the dynamics of a ubiquitous point, and this point has implicit in it several characteristics. One of these characteristics is something we're calling omniscience. So we have an equation for omniscience which we represent as being true over any time-space continuum from 0 to n, and it is such that the system has this implicit knowledge that leverages physical, vital, and mental instrumentation and circumstance. So physical instrumentation and circumstance, vital instrumentation and circumstance, mental instrumentation and circumstance, to in fact bring about a reorientation from the physical leading to the vital leading, or from the vital leading to the mental leading. And that is the equation that we use to represent omniscience within a system or an organization that we're looking at. Now at mental level 2, where we're looking at the dynamics of an architectural set of forces, so a set of forces that really are responsible for the architecture of organizations, we have this set of omniscience which has elements such as knowledge, wisdom, the laying down or the construction of laws, penetration of knowledge and spreading of knowledge, and so on. And at meta level 1, our hypothesis is that any organization is unique, and hence there's a unique signature that really indicates how that organization is going to develop. So if an organization has the characteristic where it's driven by omniscience, then the unique signature for that would be signature to the base m, which is really equal to some primary element x with the weight a and a secondary element y with the weight b, and the secondary element may repeat itself with various y's and b's from 0 to m times, and all such that x, the primary element, is an element from the set of omniscience of this set here, and y can be an element from any of the 4 sets. So the set of omniscience, the set of omnipresence, the set of omnipotence, the set of omniloving, and a and b are both integers such that a is greater than b, and hence x has a greater weightage than any repeating y. And in the outer, we have a set which has characteristics such as fragmentation. So there may be an idea, but there may be a thought, but it's typically fragmented from the rest of reality. And we also may see things like fundamentalism, fixation, and so on. Now, this is the 4-layered equation for the mental, but we also indicated that there's an urge implicit in the mental, and this urge brings about a transformation. So we've captured this urge by a function called the transformation circle, which is modulated by sine, e, and pi, and we represent that transformation circle as a multi-layered seed, if you will, with the deepest layer being M3. So that point of omniscience is surrounded by M2, so the set of architectural forces, surrounded by M1, which is unique signature that really represents what the organization is going to look like, surrounded by the outer, which may be quite the opposite of these other possibilities, M3, M2, and M1. And we're saying that this transformational circle is subjected to a time behavior, and this time behavior is such that initially the mental may be entirely in the outer, but over time and the right conditions, it begins to integrate the deeper layers into its functioning, so that ultimately what we have in the outer is really the incarnation of the deeper layers, meta level 1, meta level 2, meta level 3. And the way this would actually happen is that in the outer, if we were able to overcome these patterns in the mental, so there would be something that would cause us to overcome these patterns in the mental, such as fragmentation, fixation, fundamentalism, and so on, then we create the conditions to make meta level 1 more active, and this is the layer of the signature. And we continue with the dynamics active here, and when this signature approaches or becomes a true force, then we can break into meta level 2, and when this force becomes impersonal, we can break into meta level 1. And if these conditions are fulfilled, then essentially what we have is the conditions for the transformation of the set mental outer, and we arrive at a new set which we call mental transformation. So just integrating this into this equation here, what we're saying is that when we are able to overcome the patterns of the mental, then we can break into M1 and cause the signature behind the organization to become more active. So the signature will begin to incarnate in the outer. Similarly, at M1, if we overcome the condition so that the signature begins to become a force, then we break into M2, and M2 can also become more active in the outer. And similarly, when this force becomes more impersonal, then M3 can also become more active in the outer. And when this happens, what we hypothesize is that this set here, that's characterized by fragmentation, fundamentalism, fixation, and so on, will begin to alter. So we'll see a new set of characteristics that would be represented by characteristics such as understanding, imagination, inspiration, revelation, and so on. And to integrate this component into this equation, essentially what we're saying is that as this transformation circle function continues, then it yields this new set which we're calling mental transformation. And that has the characteristics here which are very, very different in nature than the characteristics that we perhaps initially start off with. So this is the enhanced equation for the mental. And one of the practical points of this is that oftentimes when we look around the world, what we see is many, many different isms. So this may be in the fields of finance, in the fields of business, in the various deeper religions that operate around the world. And basically, the transformation of these isms becomes quite an imperative, and the equation that we're proposing here is one way to think about this transformation, so that something very different can incarnate as a result of meeting these various conditions and allowing meta level 1, 2, and 3 to incarnate in the outer.